You need to pay attention. What happened last night was not normal. And now the effects are about to reach you. Something shook the higher realms last night, and it had everything to do with you. While your body slept, something in the spiritual realms stopped. A rare shift hit so suddenly, so powerfully, that even the Archangels paused. Not out of fear, but out of recognition. Not everyone felt it. Not everyone was meant to. Most people woke up today exactly the same. But the spiritually attuned people, they woke up different. You might not remember the moment. You might not remember the feeling. But something last night marked you. And you were never meant to miss this message forever. Two nights ago, while the world was staring at a beautiful supermoon, something far more strategic was happening. This supermoon was a warning signal, a cosmic siren designed to jolt certain souls out of a deep spiritual amnesia. Its light wasn't just blessing you, it was calling you back, because hidden inside that brightness was a reflection of something you once knew but forgot. A role you were never supposed to abandon. You weren't meant to use this moon. You were meant to wake up because of it. But the moon didn't care. It sounded the alarm anyway. And last night, that alarm reached you. Last night didn't just shift the spiritual atmosphere. It switched something back on inside you. Something that was always there, but pushed so deep beneath survival, worry, and routine that you stopped noticing it. For months, many chosen ones have been feeling disconnected from their intuition, almost as if the inner compass went quiet. But what happened last night reignited that dormant sensitivity in a way you couldn't consciously track. This is where the supermoon enters the picture again. Its energy didn't activate a new ability, it cleared the fog around an old one. The moon has always been tied to intuition, but this particular supermoon behaved differently. It didn't amplify your emotions, it restored your inner perception. It brought your instinct back online in a way that feels subtle, but unmistakable once you start paying attention. You didn't gain anything. You simply remembered how to hear yourself again. There's an old esoteric saying, "What sleeps in the mind never dies. It waits." And last night, whatever has been waiting inside you finally opened its eyes. This reawakening isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's the almost imperceptible feeling that you suddenly understand things without knowing how you understand them. The way a room feels different. The way someone's words hit you differently. The way your body reacts before your logic has time to catch up. These micro-realizations aren't coincidences. They're the signs of a gift reactivating. And the reason the Archangels reacted? Because this wasn't supposed to happen this early. Not for everyone. Not yet. But something about you crossed the threshold sooner than expected. And now you're carrying an intuition that hasn't been this awake in years. So the real question becomes, how do you know if you were one of the souls actually marked during the event, or if the signal just passed you by? Not everyone received what happened last night. The energy wasn't spread equally. It was selective. It moved toward the ones who were already on the edge of remembering who they are. If you were marked during the event, your body and your reality would have shown subtle but undeniable signs the moment you woke up. One of the clearest signs is waking up tired, even if you slept enough. Not the normal, "I didn't sleep well" feeling. A deeper sensation, like your spirit was working on something while your body rested. Almost as if you traveled far in a dream you can't fully recall. Another signal is having a dream that didn't make sense logically, but felt strangely important. like a message you understood emotionally, even if the imagery made no sense. These aren't dreams. They're echoes of where your spirit was during the activation. You might also notice an unusual chain of coincidences today. Numbers repeating, people messaging you out of nowhere, someone mentioning something you were just thinking about, or events aligning too perfectly to dismiss. These aren't random. These are your surroundings rearranging themselves around your new spiritual frequency. And here's the key. These aren't symptoms. These are signals. Signals that something touched your energy field last night and left a mark. A kind of spiritual signature indicating you were chosen to receive the shift consciously. If even one of these things happened, you weren't just a witness to the event, you were involved in it. And the deeper implications of that won't stay hidden for long. For a lot of spiritually aware people, yesterday felt strangely off. Plans fell apart for no reason. Conversations didn't flow. Motivation disappeared. Tasks that should have taken minutes dragged on for hours, and even simple decisions felt heavier than usual. It wasn't laziness. It wasn't resistance. Something in the energy field made forward movement almost impossible, as if the universe quietly placed everything on pause without explaining why. Here's the twist. Nothing was working because you weren't supposed to move forward yet. The hours before last night's event were part of a spiritual lockdown. Not a punishment, but a protection. The energy you were operating in wasn't stable enough to support your next steps, and if you had pushed too hard, you would have aligned yourself with a path that wasn't meant for the version of you that would emerge after the shift. There are moments in spiritual history where the universe takes control of the pace, and yesterday was one of those moments. You didn't fail. You were being held back. There's a powerful truth at play here. When destiny rearranges your timeline, obstacles become shields in disguise. Everything that fell apart yesterday fell apart for you, not against you. Every delay was the universe stalling your physical reality while something behind the veil was being prepared. Your energy signature was being recalibrated, and had you forced progress, you would have anchored yourself to something that no longer matched the resonance you were stepping into. Think of it like this. Sometimes the spiritual realm must freeze your momentum so that when movement returns, it sends you in the direction intended for your highest potential. Yesterday wasn't a failure. It was alignment happening in secret. And what seemed like a wasted day was actually the final quiet moment before everything changed. What happened last night required stillness, and you were given exactly that, even if you didn't ask for it. But the real impact of that stillness is only just beginning to unfold. Last night wasn't a single moment. It was the ignition point of a 3-day unfolding, a process designed to reveal the effects of the shift piece by piece, not all at once. What happened in the spiritual realm is too layered, too intricate to digest instantly, so it will bleed into your reality in waves. The next 72 hours will act like a mirror, reflecting what changed, what awakened, and what was removed from your path. During this period, don't be surprised if you encounter people you haven't spoken to in months, hear unexpected news, or find yourself making decisions you've avoided for years. These moments won't be random. They will be echoes of last night's event, surfacing now because the spiritual cause is finally ready to reveal its physical effect. You might notice a sudden sense of clarity around situations that have confused you for weeks, or feel drawn to choices that previously scared you. This is the new energetic imprint guiding you into alignment. Some chosen ones will feel as if Reality is rearranging itself to meet them halfway. Conversations opening doors, opportunities appearing without effort, an inner knowing rising without hesitation. Others may feel a sense of detachment, like they're watching their life from a slightly different angle. Both experiences mean the same thing. Your perception is recalibrating to match what was activated last night. There's a phrase often spoken in mystical circles. Revelation never arrives in the moment of impact. It arrives in the days that follow. And you're entering those days right now. Stay open. Stay aware. Pay attention to the small things, the timing of events, the people who cross your path, the ideas that suddenly feel obvious. These are signals, not coincidences. They're the breadcrumbs revealing what last night initiated in your soul. The shift didn't end when you woke up. It started when you woke up. And over the next 3 days, the unseen will step forward into the visible. What happened last night wasn't just a spiritual activation. It was a moment of recalibration that rippled across multiple layers of the unseen world. And whenever a shift this significant takes place, there are always forces that try to interfere. These aren't dramatic villains or shadowy beings out to get you. They're simply dense frequencies, old patterns of consciousness, and stagnant energies that can't coexist with expansion. Their goal wasn't to harm you, it was to hold you where you were, because your spiritual growth weakens the very structures that depend on your doubt. As the activation began, these dense forces tried to distort the signal that was meant for you. They attempted to create confusion, emotional heaviness, or sudden insecurity to pull your attention away from the call. But the reason their interference failed is because the message wasn't projected into the environment around you. It was delivered directly to the core of your being. This was not a broadcast. It was a whisper, a soft, precise communication aimed at the one place where distortion can't reach. Your soul. You didn't hear it with your ears. You answered it with your energy. There's a powerful truth here. A message spoken to the soul can't be intercepted by anything that lives outside of it. That's why today feels subtly different. Not in an overwhelming way, but in the sense that something in you has settled. Your aura recalibrated itself overnight. The activation coded itself into your energy field in a way that bypassed doubt, fear, and resistance. Even if you woke up not fully understanding what happened, your spirit already adjusted. That's why thoughts that used to unsettle you feel strangely neutral now, why situations that normally drain you feel less invasive, and why people who used to impact your mood barely register. You haven't become detached, you've become aligned. And the forces that try to hold you back, they ran into something they didn't expect. A version of you that no longer responds to their pull. Their failure wasn't because they were weak, it's because you weren't available to be interrupted anymore. One of the most overlooked effects of last night's event is the energetic immunity it created within the chosen ones. Before this shift, certain people, environments, and emotional patterns had the ability to hook into your field. They could drain your enthusiasm, lower your vibration, or cloud your clarity without you realizing how quickly it happened. This wasn't because you were weak. It was because your spiritual sensitivity made you permeable. But last night's activation changed that permeability permanently. As the new energy settled into your aura, it strengthened something that had been building for months: the ability to remain intact. What used to pull you down now bounces off, not because the world changed, but because your resonance did. You're operating at a different frequency today, one that old patterns can't attach to. The hooks that once gripped your energy don't have anything to latch onto anymore. Here's the deeper truth. What used to drain you didn't lose power. You outgrew its reach. You may notice today that certain conversations feel lighter than usual. Certain people who used to trigger anxiety or irritation feel strangely distant, like they're standing behind an invisible barrier. Situations that normally sparked overthinking feel manageable, almost irrelevant. This isn't a mindset shift. A mindset can be shaken. This is something subtler, something more permanent. A soul firewall was placed around you, not as a shield, but as a boundary formed from your own growth. And whether you realized it or not, you earned it. This new layer of spiritual protection won't make you immune to life, but it will make you immune to the energetic drains that were never meant to be part of your path in the first place. You're stepping into a phase where your energy isn't just protected, it's reclaimed. And the things that once fed on your uncertainty now dissolve the moment they get close. Your spirit has shifted from being reactive to being sovereign. And that sovereignty is the first sign of the transformation that last night set in motion. Most people experience spiritual shifts as emotional waves, moments of intensity, excitement, confusion, or sudden clarity. But what separates the spiritually attuned from everyone else is that your shifts don't start in your emotions at all. They start in your trajectory. Your entire path quietly rearranges itself before you even begin to feel the difference, and that's exactly what happened after last night's event. While you slept, the road beneath your life bent in a new direction, not with force or disruption, but with precision. It created a subtle detour that you haven't consciously recognized yet, one that will influence every decision you make over the next few weeks. This is why today might feel strangely normal. Nothing dramatic, nothing chaotic, nothing overwhelmingly spiritual. And yet, everything around you is slightly repositioned. Conversations might unfold easier than expected. Opportunities might show up in ways that appear coincidental. Your mind might move toward choices that used to intimidate you. These are not small things. They are early indicators that you're walking in a new energetic corridor that disguises itself as an ordinary day. The universe often hides its biggest shifts inside the calmest moments. There's a saying in ancient mystic traditions, destiny never announces itself, it simply changes direction and waits for you to notice. You're already on the new path. It just hasn't revealed its destination yet. The choices you're about to make will feel natural, maybe even unremarkable at first, but they'll be carrying hidden opportunities woven into them. Opportunities that only make sense once you're far enough along to look back and see the pattern. This is the test that separates the awakened from the unaware. The ability to recognize magic disguised as routine. Right now, your spirit is slightly ahead of your physical awareness, guiding you into places and decisions that fit the version of you that last night activated. You're already walking on ground that wasn't available to you before, and even if you don't fully understand it yet, your energy does. The real impact of this new path will unfold through simple moments, the kind that only reveal their significance once the bigger picture comes together. What happened last night wasn't a random surge of energy or a collective spiritual event that touched everyone equally. It was a selective invitation, a kind of cosmic summons, extended only to souls who have already been doing the work, the healing, the introspection, the dismantling of old identities, the uncomfortable growth that most people avoid. The energy didn't rise to find you. You rose to meet it, and that's what made you eligible to receive what was sent. If you've been feeling for weeks that something big was coming, something you couldn't explain but couldn't ignore, that wasn't imagination. That was your energy field sensing the approach of this invitation long before your mind could articulate it. You were right to feel restless. You were right to feel like you were standing on the edge of something invisible. You were right to feel like you were being prepared for a shift you couldn't name. That preparation was not random, it was part of the process. Here's what most people don't realize. The activation didn't begin last night. Last night was just the moment it completed. Your unconscious accepted the invitation long before the conscious mind caught up. This is why you're watching this video right now. There are no accidents in spiritual timing. Your presence here is evidence that your soul recognized the call, responded to it, and aligned with it, even if your waking self doesn't remember making that choice. There's a powerful truth hidden in this moment. The soul says yes in silence long before life reveals what it agreed to. This invitation wasn't about giving you something new. It was about positioning you to finally receive what has always been meant for you. The next chapter doesn't begin with a dramatic sign or a lightning bolt moment. It begins with the awareness that you were chosen not because you were perfect, but because you were ready. And now, whether you fully understand it or not, you've already stepped into the space that the invitation prepared for you. This isn't the start of a spiritual journey. It's the continuation of one your soul never stopped walking. One of the most overlooked signs of a major spiritual activation is that the outside world notices the change in you long before you consciously register it. You may wake up thinking you're stepping into another ordinary day, but the people around you feel something different immediately. It shows up subtly at first. Someone holding eye contact a little longer than usual, someone stumbling over their words around you, someone acting unexpectedly emotional, respectful, or nervous in your presence. They won't be able to explain why, but their spirit will know exactly what shifted. This happens because your aura didn't just strengthen last night. It reorganized itself. Layers of energy you've been carrying for years rearranged into a clearer, more coherent field. Things that used to linger around you dissolved. Parts of your frequency that were dimmed by stress or uncertainty brightened. Your presence is now broadcasting a message your mind hasn't fully processed yet, and the world is picking up on it before you do. What changed wasn't your personality. What changed was the forecast you emit into every room you enter. People's subconscious minds are extremely sensitive to energetic signatures, especially shifts in harmony or power. Even those who don't believe in spirituality will act differently around someone whose energy has leveled up. You might notice strangers softening around you, or others becoming slightly defensive without a clear reason. These reactions are not random, they're calibrations. The world is adjusting itself to match the frequency you're now carrying. There's a line in ancient esoteric teaching that says, "When the soul expands, the room expands with it." That's what you're witnessing now. Your presence is stretching beyond the familiar boundaries you were used to. It's taking up more spiritual space, influencing the atmosphere before you've even made a sound. You may also notice highly intuitive people behaving unexpectedly around you. Someone who usually dominates conversations might suddenly become quiet. Someone who tends to deflect their emotions might open up to you about something deeply personal. Someone who used to overlook you may now seem almost magnetized by your presence. These aren't personality shifts. They're energetic mirrors, responding to the clarity your aura gained overnight. And then there's the emotional impact. Some people may feel comforted by you without knowing why, while others may feel exposed. Your new frequency naturally highlights the truths people are carrying. The heavy ones, the hidden ones, the unresolved ones. To those who are ready to grow, you'll feel safe. To those who avoid their own healing, you may feel intimidating. But in both cases, the reaction is a reflection of your elevation, not your behavior. The Archangels are paying close attention to this, not because they're assessing you, but because the way the world responds to a soul after an activation reveals the scope of the shift. They've watched the spiritually attuned awaken before, but the degree to which your energy is already influencing your environment shows a level of alignment that is rare. You're not just carrying a new frequency, you're broadcasting one, and it's powerful enough that the world around you is reorganizing its response in real time. Your mind will catch up soon. But for now, understand this. Your spirit is leading the way, and the world is reacting exactly as it should when a powerful soul quietly steps into a new chapter. The activation that took place last night was never meant to crown you with a title or place you on a pedestal. Instead, it aligned you with a form of leadership that the world rarely recognizes but deeply needs. The kind that doesn't rely on authority, attention, or recognition. You weren't chosen to instruct others. You were chosen to remind them. And there's a profound difference between those two roles. A traditional leader directs people. A quiet guide awakens them. What shifted inside you last night placed you into the second category. Not because you asked for it, and not because you forced yourself into it, but because your energy finally reached a level where your presence naturally begins to alter the spaces you enter. You've crossed into a frequency where your mere existence carries insight. People won't know why they feel more grounded around you, why they feel braver around you, or why they suddenly feel capable of things they've been avoiding for years. They'll simply feel it and respond to it. This is why the spiritual realm calls you a living frequency upgrade. You didn't earn this by preaching or performing. You earned it by surviving, by evolving, by refusing to collapse under the weight of experiences that would have broken others. Every challenge you endured added a layer of wisdom and clarity to your energy field. And last night was the moment those layers fused into something cohesive, something noticeable, something powerful, something undeniably active. You'll start to realize that people approach you differently now. Some may confide in you unexpectedly, sensing a safety in you they can't explain. Others may come to you for comfort or direction, without ever asking a direct question. Your presence becomes their mirror, and not everyone will find that comfortable. Some may pull back because you silently reveal truths they weren't ready to face. That's not rejection. That's resonance shifting the landscape around you. There is an ancient spiritual teaching that says, when a soul becomes light enough to carry others, it stops needing to be carried itself. And that is exactly the frequency you stepped into last night. What's interesting is that you may not feel dramatically different. You may not feel enlightened or transformed. But that's because this kind of leadership works from the inside out. Your mind is still catching up to the version of you that your spirit already is. The clarity will come slowly. The confidence will settle in naturally. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.